Hi Leo, welcome to your reading. Thanks for tuning in. Join me here while I'm shuffling. Call in your higher self and guides to connect with me, to create a feedback loop, to bring through messages that are tailored for you and that will help you on your way in your current circumstances. We're going to have a look at the general energies available for Leo around this time. So let's take a look. Bottom of the deck we have Six of Pentacles reversed. Nice spread here, Leo. There's definitely some challenging energy here presenting itself, but where it comes to is a really beautiful new beginning with opportunities available to you. So let's get into it. At the heart of the reading, we have the Judgment card in reverse, and it's crossed by the Nine of Cups, which is also in reverse. I read the crossing card as either a reversal or an upright here. So what this is telling me is that I'm hearing liberation. So there's an opportunity here for you to kind of, I'm getting this sensation of throwing off like a shackles or some kind of binding, limiting energy. It could be anything here, right? Like that could be a person, a behavior, a job, an environment that you've been in, some kind of system that you've been operating with, right? So you get what I'm getting at there. Here we have the Tower in the position of the recent past. This is the energy you're coming into this reading with. And then the Judgment card is the central theme. The outcome is the Three of Wands. And then on this central axis here, if this is the first time on my channel, I kind of read these two axes here, and then the four quadrants kind of feed into that. So at the foundation, you have Five of Swords reverse, Judgment reverse, and then Hanged Man in the crowning card position of your reading. For for Major Arcana cards, what we have here is Tower reversed, Judgment reversed, Empress upright, Hangman upright, the Fool, and the Wheel of Fortune in the outcome positions. I'm seeing this as a very, very positive, beneficial energy coming, like bringing you out of this reading. But what we're dealing with fundamentally in this moment is challenging aspects of your own nature, whether we're talking about here a sort of, I'm feeling this kind of stubborn energy in your personality, some kind of way that you have been operating, or a belief that you've held, or an attitude that you have. It feels like an attitude, a kind of attitude that you have about life, about yourself, about a person, or just a certain, a specific kind of thread of energy that you've been kind of weaving your life with, as that kind of, with that being a kind of foundational unit of your reality, of the building blocks you've been creating. And what it feels like here is that that fundamental thread is being cut, unraveled, and dispersed, so that you can now feel an alleviation from some of the limitation that that idea or that thread has been keeping you in order for you then to kind of come out of a time where that was how you kind of operated, into a space here where you have a fresh new beginning, you have a greater sense of alertness, aliveness, awakenedness to who you are, and the position that you're in right now, the role you're moving forward with, and how you're able to turn circumstances that may have been adverse or challenging or limiting in some way into something fortuitous and opportune and an opportunity. But it's through your own doing here. This is not some kind of, I don't feel this is sort of some kind of hand of God situation here, where all of a sudden some lucky event occurs and you're presented with an opportunity. This is more you waking up. This is a revelation. That's what the Judgment brings. Judgment is a challenging energy. It's one of like a kind of an initiation by fire. It's sort of a trials and tribulations. It's an initiation type of a frequency. And here in this reading, because you have it with the Tower and the Nine of Cups reverse is the crossing card, what that feels like to me is that you might have been facing this particular issue for quite a while, and you've been resisting and resisting. That's that stubbornness I was talking about earlier. I feel there has been a stubbornness in your energy that has been refusing to see something that's been right in front of you. And now there's some kind of event occurring where you're now forced to look at that thing in a way that you might not have been able to see it before, in a way that's giving you the chance to kind of open up your perception through some kind of situation where you may have felt like you don't have a choice, right? There's some kind of occurrence where you're in a circumstance where you don't have any choice but to look at that thing and look at it without any distractions, without any disturbance, without any interference. And because you're able to do that, you can see something in a way that you haven't been able to see it before, and it's very profound. It's very humbling as well. It's like because you have this Seven of Swords with the Empress here, that feels to me like you have this kind of changing way of seeing yourself. And maybe you realize that there's been certain elements about your nature that you haven't been really truthful about to yourself and to others. And maybe also something here in your nature that has been, I'm hearing skiving. I don't know what that means, so I'm going to look it up. Skive. Avoid work or duty by staying away or leaving early. Yep, totally. So you might have been avoiding some of your responsibility, and that would have been something here that you are now eliminating by this circumstance that you're in, where you're being forced to look at some things, right? Now, because you have the energy of like overcoming whatever avoidance of responsibility that you may have been pretending or playing out, that gives you the chance here to step more into this Empress energy, which is much more of a all-rounded, loving, compassionate, creative, abundant, healing energy for yourself and others, right? And turning away from this energy of kind of being mistruthful about who you really are and what your role really is and what your responsibilities are. This is you facing your responsibilities, but in a way with joy, with willingness, with compassion, with an understanding that actually it's beneficial for you to do so. You hiding away from your responsibilities is actually not in any way enlightening you or expanding your spirit or bringing any kind of growth to your personal path. Your avoidance has actually been simply diminishing you and keeping you in a sort of immature space where you're not actually allowing yourself to grow. I hope this is making sense. We have in this reading 2 sevens, 2 threes. There's this 5 of swords. Let's talk about these cards. I feel like I covered pretty much this whole top half of the reading here. But what we've got down here in this part of the spread is, I mean, I basically did cover it with all I just said there, but I want to talk about each card. So 6 of swords reversed with the Page of Swords upright. This is in the position of you right now. So that's telling me that as a result of this unexpected experience or unexpected event here that is forcing you into looking at something without distractions, it's making you go back in your mind. I'm feeling this more as, rather than actually going back into a place physically, this is more you going back in your mind and kind of recounting via the memory certain events, maybe multiple events, where you are getting access to this understanding about this energy of where you may have shirked away from your responsibilities and where you may have acted immaturely as the Page of Swords, and where you may have been flighty or petty or immature or gossipy or fickle. Okay, you're remembering all these things now, but what I want to say about that is that it's really important that you view this situation, or view, like when you're in this space, don't allow self-judgment to play into reliving this moment of these understandings, so that you can actually, because I feel like if you let judgment play into it, you could maybe continue to play out that avoidance of understanding this thing because you don't want to feel those things. You don't want to feel shitty about where you sold out short before or where you dodged the responsibility. I'm not trying to make you feel guilty or bad or remorseful about the past. That's not the point of this reading or the energy that's coming through here. It's more about just helping you become aware of, okay, that's how I was before, but that's the end of this now. I'm aware of who I am. I'm becoming aware of who I am. I'm becoming aware of the energy of my specific blueprint, that I'm able to now step into that role with responsibility and willingness That's what the Fool is saying. The Fool, the Emperor, and the Wheel of Fortune are all saying here that you're becoming willing now to step into that role, into that energy without any of this egotistical energy that's either one way or the other. Either your ego is saying like you don't want to do that because you don't want to work that hard, or you're not going to do that because it's not your problem, or you don't want to do that because it's not your responsibility, or you will do that because you want the accolades, you want the attention on you, you want the pats on the back. None of that. It's more just like a humility. This is a very humble energy in this reading of realizing and understanding who you really are, and maybe where you have avoided being that entity or that archetype in the past for whatever reason. And from here on out, you are, through this energy of the Hanged Man, which is talking about sacrifice, compromise, and illumination. You've become illuminated to the circumstances of how you may have been behaving before and how you ought to behave now, and becoming aware of that energy of who you are as a healer, as a teacher, as a caregiver, whatever, however that is for you. And also not getting caught up in the labels of the role, but just more about being in your pure energy of unconditional love and willingness and responsibility and giving and sharing. You're able to step into this next cycle here with a more trusting energy of universal life force energy, and how you're able to channel it through you for the benefit of yourself and others. It's quite simple. There's nothing lofty or complicated here. There's no like pedestalization of your own self. There's no heroization of your own self. It's not about like me kind of big upping you to kind of encourage you to do something here that's going to make you get rewards or accolades from other people. No, it's just what's natural. Now down here, I was down here, I kind of got distracted again, but this 5 of Swords reversed, 6 of Swords reversed, Page of Swords reversed, 3 of Pentacles reversed, 7 of Cups upright. Again, I basically covered all of this, but this is where we're talking about you realizing how you may have been diminishing yourself in the past, how you may have been trying to shirk responsibility or dodge or avoid where you should be putting your work in and where you should be contributing and making effort. The inner dialogue with that the self-defeatedness or the self-judgment or the self-aggrandizement, all of that stuff I kind of already touched on there. This is kind of all sort of moving out of your energy, and what's moving in is the awareness of your true nature, the illumination, the awareness of your need and also want now to sacrifice and compromise in a way that's more beneficial and healing and contributing to the greater whole, rather than this kind of selfish energy that's now moving out. Bottom of the deck, 6 of Pentacles reversed, High Priestess. 5 of Cups reversed, Temperance reversed. Right, so that 6 of Pentacles reversed touched on, basically this is a summary of what I just said. It's like you having maybe been selfish in the past, or unwilling to be generous or contribute, or trying to avoid your responsibilities for all of the other reasons. High Priestess here is saying, High Priestess with the Empress is really strong coming out in this reading, with also the Fool and even the Wheel of Fortune, I would say. These cards are all talking about how you are becoming aware of your true nature as a healer, as a contributor, rather than as a person who is like, not willing to contribute, not willing to give, but just is a little bit selfish in their own agenda. This is here you realizing that you are actually, you have the energy of a healer. You have access to that. You have access to a greater feminine, nurturing, divine energy that you're willing to now contribute more to the greater whole, rather than just kind of be stuck in your own personal agenda that may be playing out. 5 of Cups reversed here with Temperance reversed is interesting. I feel this is maybe a little bit of the remorseful energy I was speaking about earlier. Maybe you're feeling with these 2 5s reversed and then the Temperance reversed, like maybe a little bit of regret over when you kind of looking back through the memory. As I said earlier, you might be realizing and remembering certain events from the past, or just in general, your way of operating through life in general in the past may have been this sort of slightly selfish, slightly self-aggrandizing, rather dodging over responsibilities and whatnot. Maybe you feel a little bit of regret over that. Maybe you realize now that there was a lot of opportunity in there for you to develop and grow as an individual. And now coming into the Temperance reversed here, I feel that this is a time for you to reconcile that within yourself and forgive yourself for the places where you may have felt short in the past, and just leave all that behind and step into this energy now where you are becoming realized of your true nature, of what you're here to give and contribute, and how you can step forward in this energy without any personal agenda, without any egotistical drive, but just simply being able to understand your role in the greater awakening and the greater healing of humanity. I know that sounds very big and whatever, but it's actually what we're all here for. And it's not about an ego trip. It's not about pedestalizing yourself. It's not about feeling like you're more important than anyone else. It's just what we've all agreed to come here and do and contribute towards. Okay, Leo, I feel that's it for your reading. I'm just checking over here, make sure I haven't missed anything. But I feel that was quite a thorough reading. Remember to give yourself a lot of love and forgiveness and acceptance for what has been in the past, and just like be able to let all of that go and just start from a new point here with the Fool in this reading. This is a 0 point here. This is a new beginning, a fresh, clean slate. The past is all forgiven and released. And it's what matters from here on out. How you move forward from here is what matters. The past doesn't play into it. This is now you with the Three of Wands here, looking out over the horizon and the landscape of your life, of the greatest story as well, and seeing what you can contribute, how you can envision something greater, something more beautiful and powerful, and behave differently from here on out. That will help actualize that vision of a new, beautiful, enlightened world that we can all make together. Okay, Leo, that's your general reading. I'm going to take the Voyager deck now and shuffle again. We're going to give another holographic mandala spread with a higher octave reading to provide a little more insight and any additional messages that need to come through. Check in with your higher self again and send your energy over into the deck so I can get really clear messages for you. Alright. Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Queen of Swords, Woman of Crystals, crossed by the Three of Pentacles reversed. That's the same card that we had here. We'll talk about it. Four of Wands upright, Magician reversed. Seven of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles reversed. Five of Crystals reversed. So that's the same card we had at the foundation in the previous reading. Ten of Wands reversed. Four of Cups reversed. Sage of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, a lot of earth energy here. Chariot reversed. Eight of Crystals, Eight of Swords reversed. And Five of Wands. So again, two fives in the reading. This time they're together here in the spread. There's a lot of Pentacles in this reading, speaking very much about earth energy and like the physical world. Page of Cups at the bottom here, as I mentioned. So if you're interested in hearing the interpretation about this spread, you can click the link in the description box below and follow over towards that other platform there. If this is the end of us for now, then thank you so much for watching. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. I hope you found some things in there that you can use, some things that you can work with to help you on your way in your personal development. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, and I will see you in the next reading.